15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Oh, that's a cheer we used to do in softball.
What? It's actually Geico's.
Whenever someone hit a triple, we would wave our bats and yell, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. But we never got to use it because we would only hit home runs. Annoying.
The phrase is from Geico because they help save people money.
Geico? Yeah, they were our team sponsor.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Es mejor llegar tarde a casa que nunca volver a llegar. Es mejor llegar tarde al trabajo que nunca volver a trabajar. Y es mejor recoger tarde a tus hijos que nunca volver a recogerlos. Llegar tarde a donde vayas por esperar a que pase el tren es mucho mejor que arriesgar tu vida tratando de ganarle el paso. Por algo existe el dicho, más vale tarde que nunca. Alto, el tren no para.
Mensaje de Netza. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Grammarly Premium. Get a 1 month free trial of Grammarly Premium. Also, check out vidIQ. Get a free trial of vidIQ if you want to boost those views, subscribers, watch time, and get that YouTube award. Click on the links in the description. And thank you to Amazon Music Unlimited for sponsoring the show. If you want to get your free trial, visit my website to find out more. Welcome to the Stephen Shiels radio show. Today I've got Keith Abraham. How are you, Keith?
I'm well, Stephen. Yourself?
I'm very well, mate. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity.
You know, I remember I saw you in Newcastle talk on stage about goal setting, and, it inspired me to be an entrepreneur. And look, good. I never had intentions to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to be an employee, and in 2020 I started my, music company, Shiels Productions.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for, giving me inspiration to do that. Well, I wanted to talk about you. Were you always an entrepreneur your whole life?
No, so I was an employee up until about 25 years ago. So yep. I've always been employed by corporates or companies. Mm-hmm. I've always had little side hustles, like a little, whether it was a part-time waitering job or cleaning boats on the Brisbane River and doing a few things like that. So I always had a couple of side hustles, for additional money, but never ever thought of myself in my own business.
It's very scary, starting your own business. Number one, you're not guaranteed the income as well.
Yeah.
My first year of entrepreneurship, I've made $20.
You got to start somewhere, mate. At least you made $20. There's some entrepreneurs who have built phenomenal businesses that for years made nothing.
Are you serious?
Just have a belief in themselves and a passion, and a goal, and perseverance. Sometimes you just got to, you got to be able to do that to be able to move yourself forward.
I'm finding I'm learning a lot in my first year doing it. As a musician, and I suppose for the first time in my life, I love Monday. I look forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool, isn't it? I mean, I think that's when you're pursuing your passion, when you're really doing something that you believe in and you're focused on. What did Mark Twain say? If you turn your vacation into your vocation, you never work another day in your life. And I just think that so often what happens is as we start to pursue the passion, as we turn our passion into a profit, into a business. And, one of the things I say, and you probably remember this from my talk in Newcastle, passion fits into two categories. You either go and pursue your passion and you generate an income from it, or you go and generate an income so you can pursue your passion. And I think, what you're doing is, you're pursuing your passion to generate an income, for now, for further down the track or whatever it might be. Yeah,
the future goal for me is to be able to put food on the table with Shiels Productions. And that's what I really, really deeply want to do. And I wanted to talk about your experience as a businessman. Were there hard times for you, Keith?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. so this year I've been in business for 25 years. And I remember, I said to I was working in Suncorp as a trainer with them, and I had a couple of mates of mine approached me to do something for their companies on a weekend. And they said, "Oh, look, we want to pay you for it." I thought, "Oh, yeah, this is good." And I had a couple of jobs like that, still employed. And I just thought, I said to my wife at the time, I said to Christine, so Christine and I have been married 28, 29 years, I should say. And I said to her, I said, what's the worst thing that can happen? Have a crack at this, and if it doesn't work out, I'll get a real job. And so, during that time, we've had some really tough times. So I remember in our first year, Stephen, I'd done some work for this one particular company, and so this dates me a little bit. This is when they still had checks, and we followed this company up, and they said, "Oh, look, we can't find your invoice. Can you re-invoice us again?" And they just gave us the runaround, and they paid us, and they paid us on the Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock, and it was just before Easter, just before Good Friday. And it was that check wasn't going to clear until probably then, not until about Wednesday, Thursday the following week. And I remember my wife and I, over that long weekend, Easter, we did nothing. We went nowhere. We spent no money. Anything that we bought, it was out of the chain, out of our change jar. And look, and even when the GFC hit, I had clients that cancelled programs and stuff like that. But we had a great year in the GFC. We had a great year in 2020 during COVID, where most of my colleagues in my industry have really struggled. We had one of our best ever years, and we'll have another record-breaking year this year as well.
I think what you're doing is pretty good. I've followed personal development myself, like Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor, but I find they're too overpriced, in my opinion. I like your work because you're Australian as well.
Thank you.
And I think you explain it much better.
Yeah, thanks for that, Steve. Look, I grew up on the farm, and so, I think for me it was, if you just keep it nice and simple, I always think if it's too complex or complicated, people never implement it. And at the end of the day, if I truly want to make a positive difference in people's lives, the only way that's going to happen if people feel comfortable enough to commit to a plan that implements those ideas, and we remove the complexity out of it, we remove the complication out of it, and we just make it really compelling, then we're going to get the greatest amount of traction, which means we'll make the greatest amount of difference. And so that's been my approach all the way through.
I suppose as entrepreneurs like me and you got to love what you do.
You do.
Because you're not expected that income probably for 5 to 10 years average. First 5 years you're running at a loss, putting the money into the business.
Yes.
But I think you got to have balance as well. Because most entrepreneurs, I think they're going to work the 12 to 16-hour days. What's your work day like?
These days I've got a great deal of flexibility, only because I'm not travelling as much. But prior to COVID hitting, I'd up early, finish late type of thing, because got some big goals to accomplish and achieve, and all the time as well. The business is evolving and changing, so you've got to be prepared to change and evolve with it. Currently I live in Brisbane. I get up in the morning, go for a walk, take the dog for a walk, then I go for my walk, then have breakfast with Christine and the girls, and then then jump in the office and or a webinar or things like that. I mean, last year was pretty busy because I was built a studio, learning, never done virtual presentations before, so just learning the art of doing that, which is different than standing on a stage than presenting into a screen. And so it was some pretty long days. Plus also, I spoke in 26 different countries last year. So working in lots of different time zones, a couple of big clients in the UK. So, a little bit of, their morning is my night, so to speak. So there was some pretty big days last year.
When you love what you do, you just keep going and you just want to do it.
Yeah, it energises you, mate. That's the cool thing about it. It just energises you. And I think if it's, it doesn't mean that you don't get tired. It doesn't mean that there's not hassles or challenges or things like that. But, if it's the majority of the time, if it's engaging and energising and enthuses you, well then, you're probably, in the right place at the right time doing the right things.
And you're very big on goal setting. Do you find goals have to be realistic, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think you got to come from a few different. I think you got to dream big. I think you got to think about those. All those goals you want to achieve. So I think sometimes as adults we stop dreaming and we get a little serious. So you've got to have that. A guy called Dr. Joe Dispenza said you've got to have a vision for the future and a memory of the past, and you've got to have this greater vision for some of the things that you want to achieve. I had a game of golf with a mate of mine yesterday, with this group of 3 guys that I play golf with, and hence I didn't play too much golf in the last 25 years because I've been, just didn't have the time. But now I've had the time and I'm home all the time, so you can lock in some things. And myself and this other guy who's a good mentor of mine, we both mentor each other. We're just saying, when things lift, we're going to go and play these couple of golf courses. We're going to get on a plane and go somewhere. And so, it's important to have those big dreams, and then it's important to say, okay, if they're the dreams, what do they break down to into goals that you want to achieve this year? And it always comes down to 4 key areas. What are your personal goals? What are your professional goals? So professional being business, personal being yourself. What are your physical goals? That's your health and fitness. And what are your profitable goals? So they're to do with your own personal profitability, the money you save, the purchases you make, the things you want to invest in, things you want to buy, moving forward. So, it has to be a balance there.
Absolutely. I mean, have you found if you put pressure on yourself as a businessman, it's very hard to achieve what you want? Because that's my experience. That's what I've found.
I think we can be our harshest critic, and I think we can often overestimate what we can achieve in a short period of time and underestimate what we can achieve in a long period of time. So hence we put pressure on ourselves. I should be able to get, achieve X, Y, Z and ABC by this time frame in the next 12 months. And really, in essence, when you look at that in hindsight, sometimes you sort of go, probably that was more like a 2 or 3 year goal, not a 1 year goal. And other times you sort of go, could I reach this level in my business, in the next 5 years? And, you sort of go, well, actual fact, I could probably do that with an intensity of focus. I could probably do that in the next 2 years or 3 years. So, I think I'm just a great believer in reflection. Reflection, how am I travelling, what's working, what's not, how do I just modify it so it has an impact on where I'm going further down the track.
No, that's amazing, Keith. And are you always setting goals for yourself with what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, quarterly goals. Last couple of weeks been working on the 10-year plan. So where I'll be in 10 years. So starting to think about and then so as you think about what it is 10 years down the track, you then start to go, well, where do I need to be by 5 years? What do I need to be? What do I need to achieve in 2021? And it just gives things perspective all the time. And the short-term goals, mate, are just, little things. I look at my list of tasks that I need to do today. So, if I look at my weekly list over here, I go, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 things to do for the week, like 6 milestones I want to accomplish. And then I sort of just go, okay, well, what's today? Well, today I just finished a big seminar on Saturday for my own community. About 700 people attended. So there's a follow-up to that I've got to organise today. So that's the goal. That's the goal today. Get that all embedded and get organised for a couple of presentations. That's today's goal.
Mm. And you mentioned too, you used to be in the corporate world. Why did you leave the corporate world, Keith? And I
just I had a big calling by standing up and presenting to people in my own business. Was for me, I was really passionate about that. And as I said to you before, I said to my wife, look, if this doesn't work out, I'll just go and get a job. I'll just go and get a real job. I've done that before. I'll do it again. But for me, it was like being in control of my own destiny. So I'm gonna live. I'm going to succeed or not succeed depending on the quality of the actions and activity I take. But it'll 100% fall on me. It won't be somebody made a decision in head office, or somebody decided to do this, or we're taking on a different strategy or corporate structure, whatever it might be. I call the tunes, I take the action, I deliver on the strategy. And I'm really comfortable in doing that. And I'm really comfortable in, just, for want of a better word, backing myself.
No, that's exactly what it is as an entrepreneur. When COVID hit last year, it taught me a lot, Keith. You can't rely on employment anymore, the way the world is.
I think it's such a fluid market now, Stephen. I think one of the challenges is that the world is changing. How people are employed, their work plan and work habits now are just all. There's a vastly amount of change happening in that space. Where you sort of think of it, you go, well, there's a lot of people that have been working from home or working in isolation, and for some people, that's been a godsend. For some people, I got a client of mine in the UK who was commuting 2.25 hours both ways to get to their office in London, from out of Kent or Surrey, and so it was like, so there's like 4.5 hours they just got back. And so their thinking now is, well, if I can do my business, if I can do my role at my corporate job, if I can deliver the results from not having to go to the office, if I can take my kids to school and go for a bike ride in the morning and breakfast with my family and be there for dinner as well, and still get the same, why would I ever want to go back to the office? So there is a whole variety of change that's coming about how we work and operate these days. And you'll have some other.
Yeah, so back years and years ago, people would just walk up to an employer, say they needed work, and by Monday you'd have a job. But now, for the first time, you're competing with someone over in Mumbai who wants to work less than you now.
Yeah, and this is the point, Stephen. You have to build your own, whether you're in business for yourself or whether you're working for someone, you have to build your own personal brand and your own personal value. So somebody says, look, I could get that work done offshore for cheaper, but they know the quality that you deliver, or the reliability, or the connection, or even just the commitment to it. I always think of it like this. There's I've been doing this for a long time, as I said before, and there's lots of people who do the same type of work and speak on the same topic, and who are probably half, a quarter the fee that I charge. So why do clients keep on coming back to me? Unprecedented value. can deliver unprecedented value, if I can understand their business, you know, like I've got clients like Toyota and Lexus that I've been working with for 18 years straight now, you know, and early on in the piece I said to them, well, why, you normally only use somebody like me once and then you go on and use somebody else, and why do you keep on coming back to me? Because I know those other people are just as good. And you know us, Keith, and we know you. And when you get a chance to understand what they do, how they do it, what they stand for, and you all of a sudden become part of their, for want of a better word, part of their corporate family, then you become the go-to person. And I think, I get the whole outsource. I've got team members in the Philippines that I access. I've got, all of my team is all remote. I mean, it's just Christine and I in the office. Got people on the graphic designers on the Gold Coast. I've got a bookkeeper on the Gold Coast. I've got my executive assistant Joe, who's on the Sunshine Coast. So why access those people? And it comes back to you've got to be start building your own personal brand and building a name and a reputation for yourself as the go-to person. You're right, you can't just knock on somebody's door anymore. But you can build a relationship with people online. And by building that relationship with people, they see that you're a person who can deliver. And at the end of the day, there'll always be people and companies that'll buy the cheapest, and there'll be the companies that'll are happy to invest in the best. And so that's the philosophy I've had. How do I become better?
Well, that's what I'm always believing in. The more you pay, the better quality you're going to get of work as well. Yeah. Look,
I think at the end of the day, it's about you got to. You always got to deliver. You're only ever going to get, in my game, you're only going to ever get invited back if you're any good, but B, if you deliver the result for them, and C, if you stay in contact with them. There's been companies that I've been in contact with for like 16 years before they ever did any work for me. Did any work with me. But I'm just a great believer. Tenacity wins every race, and.
Yeah, so that's what the world we are living in right now is, reputation is the key, but for 16 years to keep in contact with clients, that's a long time,
Yeah, it is a long time. But in the 17th year, mate, they booked me to speak at an event, and so that was, let's say, what's that, 17, 8 years, so 8 years. Within 8 years, they've done probably more than 40 events with me, that's generated, probably close to about, I don't know, 7 figures. And so I'm glad I didn't give up in the 14th year or the 13th year.
Because I don't know, like, in my experience, because I'm learning how to talk to clients and keep in touch, but that's a lot of patience you've had on your end.
Yeah, but I think the thing there as well is sometimes that's that's a monthly newsletter. That's for some type of personal contact. So what I mean by personal could be a phone call, could be a handwritten note, or a unconditional gift in the mail, or a text message, or something like that. And you do 4 of those a year. I mean, it's no, it's minutes. But I've just, I think one of the real keys, I know one of the real keys for me has been just staying in touch with people, So when I'm in growth mode in the business, I will contact 7 people every working day. And regardless of whether I'm busy, not busy, I've travelled all day, I've spoken all day, I contact 7 people every day, and that's 35 people a week, 35 people a week. Somebody's going to say yes. Somebody's going to engage me. Somebody's going to, commit to a meeting. A meeting leads to a proposal. Proposal leads to a booking. So I always just think it always starts with activity. Activity kills inactivity.
Yeah, one thing I've learnt as an entrepreneur, nothing happens like that.
No. You just have to be tenacious.
Mm.
You really, really have to be tenacious. And I said it before. Tenacity wins every race, and I don't have to be the first across the line. I just have to get across the line. So if I'm prepared to stay in touch with people when they're not doing business with me, well then something will come of that.
Mm.
And
How do you?
I've got a couple of clients or a couple of proposals right at the moment that I've been working on for about 2 years.
Mm.
And we're finally getting to, by the end of this week I'll have a decision. But you sort of, I'm playing the long game. It's not like, I've got to get everything done within the next 2 years. I'm playing the long game.
Yeah, look, also too, you find there's negative people in the world, in my experience.
Yeah.
How do you stay away from negative people?
Well, exactly what you just said, mate. I stay away from them. I don't give them any time. But that's the real secret is not to spend any time with them. I'm only spending time with people who are going to lift me up. Business leaders and great entrepreneurs themselves and very positive. So they're the people I want to hang around with. It just happens that we played golf, but we could have been playing checkers yesterday. We could have been just out for lunch. But I just make sure over the last, probably 30 plus years, I have just surrounded myself with positive people. And I've either sought out those positive people or I've put myself in environments where there were positive people, and I've limited the people who are negative or I just don't spend time with them, mate. I just find reasons to not hang around them, not talk to them. Not that I'm rude or anything like that, but I just go, it's a real short conversation. Oh, how you going, Larry? Oh, that's good. What have you been up to? Oh, wow, really that? Yeah, excellent. Oh, look, mate, all the very best. I look forward to catching up with you real soon.
My experience too, I found first-year entrepreneur, there's a lot of people in the business world that just talk shit and they want to lie, rip you off as well. And when I'm on the phone, I can tell if this person, if they're an asshole. And have you dealt with people like that in your career?
Yeah, of course. That's life.
Wow.
You're going to deal with people who are going to try and rip you off, or people who are going to be a bit greasy and slimy. But that's you learn as you go along. There's been some people I've connected with and believe what they said and just let me down greatly. But you go, right, okay, I'll do more due diligence next time. I'll let them. Let's build a bit more trust. Let me get to know them a bit more before I make a decision with them, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's the. But that's part and parcel of life as well, mate. Take entrepreneurship away. That's in the corporate scene. You don't reckon there's politics, and you don't think you're going to come across people who are what I call puddle jumpers. They'll jump over you to get to another role or shaft you along the way. That's just what happens. But as you go along, as long as you don't play that game, as long as you don't go the effect of it. You can protect yourself pretty well. But once again, I've got phenomenal groups of people around me, which means I can always go back to my centres of influence and say, do you know this guy? What do you think about doing this? And you get a different perspective. That's why it's so important to have great mentors around you.
Exactly. And the stuff that we read and listen to as well, like last year, the news was just bombarding everyone with COVID-19 and
turned it off, mate. That's the thing. This, newspapers, radio, TV, they sell more advertising when more people are watching. They get more people to watch because they sensationalise the issues floating around the place. So. People can get very easily sucked into that vortex.
And Keith, the final will finish it off. What advice do you have for entrepreneurs in 2021?
Yeah, I'd say that be very, very, very focused. Okay, let me roll this back. Where there is uncertainty, where there is chaos, where there is confusion, you need greater clarity.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have exceptional clarity around what you're trying to achieve. You have to be very specific on the plans that you that will help you reach and achieve that goal. But you have to have greater clarity. The second thing I'd say is that you need to be prepared to change. You need to have the courage to change and to be so flexible that you're prepared to adapt, modify, adjust the plan or your mindset moving forward. And the third thing I'd say there is you have to pick a mindset. You have to pick a mindset of what I would call an amplified attitude. And an amplified attitude is not being positive. An amplified attitude is you selecting a mindset that you live with moment by moment, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. And that mindset could be that you're courageous, that you're tenacious, you're limitless, or you have great self-love or gratitude, or you're empowered. But you have to pick that mindset and just be exceptionally focused on that. And you have to live it and breathe it with every cell in your body. And the thing I say to people is that if you were tenacious, for example, with every cell in your body, how would you turn up? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to others? And so you have to pick the mindset because there are challenges out there, Stephen, and the only way we can deal with them is with clarity, and the only way we can have greater clarity is to have more confidence within ourselves.
Keith Abraham, I thank you for coming on the Stephen Shiels radio show today. Yep. Where can people find you on your social media?
Yeah, look, you can always, best way is to go to my website, keithabraham.com, and subscribe to my blog. I do a video blog every week, insights, ideas, and inspiration. You can find me on any of my social media handles, which is Keith Abraham CSP. If you just look for that on Insta or on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and you can connect with me on there as well.
Keith, keep up the great work. Look forward to seeing future content.
You too, mate. All the best with your radio show, and great idea connecting with people.
Hike the trail? Check. Order takeout? Check. Schedule heart checkup? Done. We've all adapted to a new way of living. Keep your healthcare on schedule with Johns Hopkins Medicine, where your health and safety are our highest priorities. We're ready to care for you through virtual and in-person visits across Maryland and the greater Washington region. Your health, our experts, safely caring for you. Schedule your care now. Learn more at hopkinsmedicine.org/safe.
The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it the rest of the way home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task. But nothing worth doing is easy.
Wake up and pair any one of these sweet, fluffy, frittery bakery treats with a McCafe iced coffee. Get any size and any flavor for just 99 cents until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.